Welcome to today's episode of The Growth Zone. I am Christian Bartsch. What is the core benefit of listening to this show? Business leaders in corporate and privately held companies gain insights into trends and strategies that provide them with a competitive advantage in the marketplace. Each episode focuses on an area such as marketing, sales, innovation, or funding that is absolutely critical to the growth of companies, whether they are startups or corporate global players, where management needs to juggle the challenges of market entry or knowing how to navigate the uncertainties of disruptive developments. Mind feeding is where clarity evolves and helps solving organizational challenges. For those who listen to the entire episode, I have a special surprise gift. I am working on some great guests that are industry leaders in management, innovation, and marketing. Let's get started on today's episode. Today I'm with Dave Ho and we are going to talk about following topic. How can you reevaluate and strengthen your position in the market by communicating a message that resonates with a B2B audience? Before we go deep into this very complex topic, Dave, can you tell us a little bit more about yourself?
Sure. So I am the founder and currently the chief technical officer of York and Chapel. We are a digital marketing company with 6 offices in the US and Canada. We help our clients market online through everything from digital advertising to websites, mobile apps. We also have 2 subsidiaries where we do work in the event marketplace and also with content marketing.
Ah, yeah, then you've noticed as well a lot what's happening, especially with everybody going offline, or let's say from offline to online. And then now suddenly thinking, well, maybe we can do again events again in a more personal way. So, what's your insights in all these opportunities and the needs that people have to solve?
Well, I do think that we are moving from obviously over the last 2 years or so, a dealing with the COVID environment to now squarely in a post-COVID world where people are going back to work and industry is reopening, but nothing is the same in terms of how people work, where they work from. Maybe they've relocated, maybe they're still working remotely, but certainly a lot of industry has reopened, and companies are struggling with how to market themselves in a way that is empathetic to a completely new world and a new environment. So we at York and Chapel have really been thinking through how to help our clients adjust to this new reality. So certainly one piece of our business being in event marketing, that area is not yet coming back, and that is a huge avenue for a lot of our B2B clients. So being unable to go to conferences, events, unable to host, different live kind of marketing interaction means that they have to do more online and kind of communicate in a different way. So it's not only the medium in which they reach out to their customers are going to be different, but it's also uh, how they communicate their message, what they say. Certainly, people are under a lot more stress these days, and the mentality I think is different, and how receptive people are to the old way of communicating. So over the last years, not only do you have COVID, but you have a lot of racial equity concerns. There's the Me Too movement. So with these kind of three major vertices of stress, coinciding, how can we as marketers help our clients really be sensitive to how people are kind of living on a day-to-day basis?
Absolutely. When you think of it, everybody is starting going back, and people even. I just was reading yesterday a magazine about the new events that have been. People have tried to start, and like for instance, Barcelona, there was a telecommunications event where even Elon Musk was there, but he was virtually there, giving a presentation, and yeah, many people are still not traveling around the world to such big conferences that used to be filled up and you'd be really full with people having great conversations and exchanging ideas. And now things have totally changed. And of course, it's slow. And certain things like these big events where still people are going, the big players, the big corporates usually have big stands. They don't have them. They don't. Some of them don't even come at all, and maybe participate virtually, but they don't want to take the risk actually to send the people there. And that's of course quite a challenge. I can think not only for those who are maybe in corporate trying to sell something, but maybe as well somebody who's in a small, medium-sized business trying to sell something to another small, medium-sized business or to the corporate. So, how do you think people should go about to solve this problem?
Well, certainly at the events, the way people communicating are different, right? Certainly, you mentioned being virtual, just doing Zoom calls is become a part of the everyday vocabulary of doing business. But even at the events, people are not shaking hands. They're social distancing, mask wearing still might be prevalent in some areas. So just the way we communicate at a conference is completely different. So we've done things for clients in the past where
Mm-hmm.
we bring low touch or no touch technologies
Mm-hmm.
into a conference environment, into an event environment. So displays, for instance, that you can interact with without touching. So we've done some projects that involve using camera systems
Mm-hmm.
to do gesture based navigation of a menu screen or something, or you can navigate through a video or a presentation.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, the great thing is today's technology allows you to do that much more cost effectively than having to deploy 3D cameras and things like that. Now you can do it just with a regular webcam, where we can create systems that allow the software to use artificial intelligence to recognize gestures, without the use of 3D. So certainly there are technologies that you can bring to bear to facilitate the communications, but then also what you say is very important, right? So how you communicate that, how you're sensitive to the audience, and how they've needed to change and adapt to doing business. We call it digital empathy, where we kind of really try to understand the audience and how they want to communicate, and how they want to receive different sorts of messages when you're trying to sell a service or sell products. right? Trying to be sensitive around how that all works together with the technology, making sure that that is effective in today's world.
Absolutely, and it's just quite challenging for so many people as well, getting used to this kind of selling and having these conferences and on the video calls and so on. And sometimes people even might be better off just having a phone call because otherwise you're just so distracted thinking, oh, does he think I'm in a messy place? Or they see actually the office and they maybe don't like it, that there's a coffee machine behind you or so, because the other one doesn't like coffee. And all the different things that starts going around in people's minds instead of focusing on what's really important and trying to communicate as well at the beginning and later on as well, I think.
Well, the digital environment has grown by leaps and bounds,
Mm,
the last 2 years, and more companies are utilizing social media for marketing, getting communications out, and not just a traditional kind of social media messaging from Twitter or Facebook. So you're talking about how to use TikTok, Switch, Clubhouse has really exploded over the last year, and those mediums allow a a much richer interaction between the company and its audience. So while those are some view them as very kind of social or consumer type environments, you'll see a lot of corporations using them in a B2B environment, because at the end you're still talking to people, right? Even if you're trying to get out a more corporate message, and being where your audience is, sometimes even when they're in kind of leisure time, allows you to more effectively get your message out there.
mm, absolutely. And that's, as you say, it has to be effective and it has to somehow resonate. And I think many people, of course, have a quite a challenge because they used to have like you'd call a customer, you'd pass by, or you were anywhere in the vicinity, so you'd pass by, say hello, have a coffee, and have a conversation, and eventually maybe the customer goes and says, "Hey, by the way, actually, it's good that you're there. Actually, I need this and this as well. Can you help me with this and this problem?" Boom. Instead
Well,
of
I think that's where the social media really comes in. The social media networks that are focused on video and audio and sort of like this richer interactive environment are the ones that are really succeeding and generating a lot of buzz, right?
mm,
So, with TikTok, it's all video based, right? Short
mm,
clips, very kind of highly interactive. Clubhouse has a completely different paradigm where they're audio conversations between people, right? And you're able to listen in on these conversations. A lot of them are kind of business focused as well as entertainment related, right? So you're imagine just getting your communication through listening into a conversation. It's very intimate in a way that interpersonal communication is intimate, right? When you're talking to somebody is intimate, and you're able to absorb the information in a way that kind of resonates and lingers and allows you to kind of like absorb it much more than reading a tweet or a Facebook post or a LinkedIn post, right? So these kind of audio visual environments are coming to the forefront because we, as people, are not able to interact as we were had been able to do 2 years ago, right?
mm.
So now that's why these mediums are becoming so powerful and people are seeking them out.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, seeking out, of course, it means, of course, people have to find a way, and some of them might be as well confused. I suppose that's something where, well, of course, usually, eventually, companies, if they want to solve the problem, they have to have outside help. Otherwise, it's just too much noise and too much confusion. And why reinvent the wheel 5 times when you can ask someone who is actually knowledgeable about that and can guide them instead of getting stuck somewhere in the woods?
Well, a lot of corporations are not focused in on that, right? So, working with a marketing agency that has a speciality in in this kind of focus on social media, on ways to change up your communications in today's world, allows them to focus, on what they do best, which is get the message out, right?
Mm.
Craft the message, craft the content that resonates, and using a medium that is new and fresh, and people are really interested in, and is different. And I think that makes it much more memorable.
Exactly, and this the memorable, that's so important, because otherwise there's so much buzz around and people call you over the day, you forget again. But if there's something like a hook, like a story or something that really gets your contact actually hooked and they want to know more, must be a way.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's really about the content, right? The content that you
Hmm.
put out there. That's why my company had spun off the our content marketing piece into a separate entity, which we call Sugared Studios. And Sugared creates audio visual content that helps companies, really uh, message themselves in a way that is much more memorable, right? To bring the full force of imagery and animation and videos and a narrative storytelling into the mix. So even though about more than half our clients are in the B2B space, we're able to utilize these things to create a narrative that stands out. So as for instance, we had won some awards for creating a program for SAP that involved the use of comic books to tell a narrative, to tell a story. So that makes the communications just much more relatable in a way that another white paper or a sell sheet just doesn't.
Exactly, and that's the thing. It visualizes, makes it easier, and it's well less complicated to explain. And everybody looks at it straight away, figures it out what's obviously supposed to be, and you don't need so much wording and complexity.
Yeah, I mean, it's what they say. A picture tells 1,000 words,
Hmm.
and video and animation is even more. I know 10,000 million words, but the reality is it's not only the medium, right? It's not only that you create something that is visually enticing, but to say it in a way that allows that the audience realizes that you understand them, right? That you understand what they're going through, you understand their challenges uh, um, in business that is different than their challenges were 2 years ago, and what your company has to offer that could help them through these challenging times. So whether it's a service that is that helps another company communicate, helps them with remote working, for instance, that really resonates to the audience and says, yeah, that's really something that I need. That my life has changed, and what you're offering me fits within that paradigm. So uh, we're working with a furniture company. How does furniture matter? Well, people are working from home now, right? So setting up and creating a work environment at home that's conducive to comfort as well as business and is professional is really important. So shifting the focus of your messaging to appeal to the times and the people who are need or are stressed under today's environment really allows you to create a message that's powerful.
Hmm. Okay. Hmm. That's really, really important. So, what can people actually do really to just generate that? How should I call it? Unique positioning that doesn't make them look like everybody else. Because just take LinkedIn or so. Go on LinkedIn and you're getting so many messages. It's a bit of a spammy situation. And it's not just that your inbox is filling up with all sorts of automated messages that are trying to sell you something. But actually really building consistency, I suppose, in the message, on the content that you deliver, and how you actually pull people in to actually want to have a conversation.
Yeah, I mean, it's no different than at any time where you're trying to cut through the clutter, right? Where you're trying to create a message that your audience is going to resonate with, and help to stand out from the crowd. And as a medium becomes more saturated with messages, and the frequency of messages, it becomes harder to do so. Then you really have to, if you're playing on a level playing field. I mean, it's one thing to, say, I'm going to eschew LinkedIn and start marketing on Clubhouse, right? You're changing the medium, right? You're setting yourself apart. But if you're playing in a medium, you're playing in a space where there's a lot of clutter, then it's the quality of the message that matters. I think a lot of clients are very attracted to the new shiny thing of, oh, I'm going to do a campaign on TikTok or Twitch, right? But obviously, making sure that you're effective in some of the more traditional channels, like a LinkedIn, is super important for your overall campaign to work, because there's going to be a lot of people there. That's where your audience is. So creating the right message that resonates above everything else, the quality of that creative is important. And I think a lot of companies don't pay as much attention to the quality of the creative. And because you can spend the same amount of money in ads, but if the quality of your messaging, your creative, is effective, you'll just have, you just get, so many more leads, so many more, call to action clicks, that it really changes the ROI equation completely.
Yes, exactly. And that equation just makes it really greater value when as well people have then business with you when they actually are interacting and engaging eventually into the whatever you're doing, whether you're selling products or services, projects, or other kind of work. Depends very much what people actually want. Makes sense. Yes. So it's great having you here on the show. Nevertheless, Dave, how can actually people get in contact with you if they want to know more? Because this is quite a complex topic, which eventually goes as well deeper into the needs of that particular company.
Yeah, and so I can be reached at York and Chapel, which is my company, and that is at www.yorkandchapel.com. That's YORKANDCHAPEL.com.
Mhm.
And we have offices, as I said, across Canada and the US. So I'm sure that we'll have an office not too far away from wherever you're calling from.
That's great. I'm sure it'll be great of benefit for them. And yeah, it was great having you here on the call.
Thank you so much, Christian.
I hope you enjoyed today's episode of The Growth Zone with Christian Barge. Thank you for listening. Please leave a review or rating here on iTunes or on podchaser.com. If you found the content helpful, then share it on social media. I would like to invite you to follow our show so that you don't miss the upcoming interviews with leaders in the market. Simply visit the website follow.prmediareach.com. I will be adding the link also to the description of this episode so that you just need to click on that link. For those of you who are listening, and signing up to follow the show, I have reserved a free copy of the ultimate guide on content marketing. This is the strategy that got me top corporate clients like McDonald's, Linde, Hewlett-Packard, Deutsche Bank, Volvo, and many others. That strategy has been working for over 10 years. It also got me contracts with police, transport authorities, military, and several universities, and even leading research institutes. For sure, it also worked wonders as it got me many small, medium-sized entrepreneurs and enterprises as clients. And that even included international clients from all around the world. The link to sign up for our free broadcasting service and the guide is follow.prmediareach.com. That will give you access to the most recent version of my ultimate guide on content marketing. You can follow me as well on Twitter by using the Twitter handle CAP_Barge. That's spelled Charlie, Alpha, Papa, Bravo, Alpha, Romeo, Tango, Sierra, Charlie, Hotel. Yes, that is CAP_Barge. Charlie, Alpha, Papa, Bravo, Alpha, Romeo, Tango, Sierra, Charlie, Hotel.